Hi, it's Karina from Ragebreed, and you're listening to Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio.
Band your heads, it is time for Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio.
Welcome to Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio. Guys, so that was a track by Nigotha, I think it's pronounced. Apologies if it's wrong, it could be Nigotha. And the track's called Rotamo, I believe. This is a track by Chris Terse. Those of you in Leicester that know who Chris is, he's come up with a really, really cool band. It's all him. And I've got to say, I was absolutely blown away by this. Like, we recently reconnected and just, we're listening to each other's, projects that we've been doing. because back in the day, myself and Chris, he used to come over to mine, and he used to like play me the bands that he was in, and vice versa. And it's great hearing the stuff he's coming out with now. It's so good. So you've just heard a really great track there from Chris Turse and obviously his band. So that you go and check them out. You are listening to Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio. Some great tunes there, I believe. The last tune actually is one of my favourites. It's called Low by Testament. And I remember when this actually came out. Um, and, you know, I don't know if you guys remember, those of you who are in Leicester, there used to be a shop called Another World. And I just remember like looking at the t-shirts and stuff and seeing, you know, Testament Low, and I used to go to HMV. That used to be the Saturday thing. Used to go to the Red Room and George's and have a pint and play pool and chill out with my friends. And we'd always buy music every Saturday. We'd go to HMV, and then my first love, he was in a band called the Noisenicks. And after we went to the pub, we'd go down to the band practice and they'd practice. And, you know, it was really cool. We used to have a really, really good time. And it's really interesting how music is very nostalgic, isn't it? You know, when you look back at a time in your life, um, when you were a teen. And obviously, I've been a Leicester metalhead for a very, very long time, you know. Um, and it's really interesting how music can take you to a certain place, you know. Um, I mean, the other day I found an Ozfest 98 flyer and I posted it and I tagged some of the ladies that who went with me on there. A bit of a shout out to Claire Derbyshire and Becky Wheel and Felicity Camel, otherwise known as Felix. Those of you in the day remember. And we all used to go down Traz and Oxygen, Sector 5, same place but had many different names. And yeah, it was really cool, and we always hung out and stuff. And you know, these were times when, um, you know, the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. You know, this was a really like epic year for music, because you know, you when you were going to festivals, you were seeing bands, you know, like Machine Head, Fear Factory, Slayer, Typo Negative. Um, you know, it was just brilliant. The lineups were so good, and it's always going to be a nostalgic time for me. So the albums that came out around that time, like with Burn My Eyes, Machine Head, you know, even with Carcass Heartwork, I know it might have been a bit early, but yeah, I mean, you know, like some of these tracks are just timeless. Some of these albums are timeless, and you know, it's like I really love discovering new music. It doesn't mean to say I completely disregard new music or anything, because some of the new stuff that's coming out is fucking brilliant. And this is the thing. I mean, it's not that. I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that, you know, there were so many places open back then, you know, and there was a togetherness that you don't tend to find as much these days. I think people have kind of segregated into their little cliques, unfortunately. But I mean, back then it was so different. And, you know, I don't know whether it's been social media that has created such, you know, divisions and stuff. But I mean, the same bullying used to go on back then, you know, that's not changed. Um, I just think that social media has fed, you know, I guess the wolf, you know, it's almost like you can either concentrate on the music and friendship and unity, family, and support each other, or you can create divisions, war, you know, create segregations between people, try and compete, and it always ends up failing because everybody loses. So my mentality has always been with Ragebreed, and the reason why we used to do our Ragebreed royalty cards was to get people to as many places, um, you know, and support everybody, and they get discounted so they can afford to do that. That was the aim of what we used to do, and we still probably will do that. You know, I mean, since COVID happened, um, obviously we couldn't do any shows anymore. We couldn't do club nights. So what we did was we created the media side of Ragebreed. So we basically in the last 2 years have launched 2 magazines. Because we're part-time, obviously we're not doing this full-time, so we don't have loads and loads and loads of people and a huge team or anything. A lot of the design work is literally just me. Interviews, a lot of them were mine. But there's been different and this is where our affiliates come in. So whenever we work with different affiliates, um, they basically come in and they sell our packages, and then they have their commissions from that, and then their section in the magazine is dedicated to them. So they pretty much get not just like a free slot in the magazine, but they also can make commissions from what we do. So it's pretty cool, because if otherwise what we would just normally just charge them to have an advert in. So it basically means we can collectively help other brands as well as our own. And you know what I'm like? I've always been one of these people that has always said you've got one hand for self, one hand for others. And it's not really a religious thing, it's more to do with the fact it's about balance, And I feel as if, being who I am as a person, it's always been about that. Yes, I like to shine and stuff, but like I said, I mean, we were talking about this a while back about people being like dimmer switches, and sometimes you want to shine brightly, and other people can shine brightly, because if you light a candle, lighting another candle will just create more light. It's not going to dim the other candle. Do you know what I'm saying? So, this is what I'm about, because it's not even about arrogance. It's about being who you are and showing the world of what you're capable of, because you don't have much time left. I mean, we're pretty much decaying. That's what we are, aren't we? We've got a human shell. Our body isn't resilient enough to last thousands of years, but we do have energy within us, and that'll dissipate into the atmosphere, as a soul, is what you'd like to call it. That's what my belief is anyway. And I just feel like we're you know spiritual beings having a human experience. And so when we have this time in this on this earth, I guess, is to really look at what you can do, not just for yourself but for other people as well. And yes, you should put yourself first, but you should always think about others too, and how can you help them. Because I think truly successful people don't they lead, but they help others become leaders too. And that's why a lot of our staff are called managers, because I don't really like other terms. I feel that you are responsible for your own life and your own brand. So that's how I do things. Obviously, if you're an intern, that's different because you're learning. Um, if you went to, I don't know, if I went to a mechanic and just was like, you pay me full-time wages as another mechanic, you'll be like, fuck off, because you've not got any qualifications in that. You need to learn first. And there is a hierarchy involved in that, because if you have no experience, you need to learn first before you get to that stage, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I'm really fucking happy with Ragebreed, and I'm very proud of what we've done, and what we've accomplished in such little time. I really don't care what haters think about me, because it's their opinion, and to be honest with you, it's all to do with the level of where they're at emotionally. Does that make sense? So, like, most people, when you post good things about yourself or nice pictures or videos, most people are like, cool, good on you. Um, but people who are jealous and insecure, they'll pick on stuff. They'll try and tear it apart, or try to harass you, and all that kind of stuff. But these are their issues, not mine. So you always have to remember that and keep that in mind. And at the end of the day, I believe in what we do. and I believe that what we do is a great thing. You are listening to Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio.
Headbangers, it is time for Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio.
You are listening to Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio. What a great track. So, that is Canada's sludgy doom band called Itis. I think it's called Itis or Itis. And this is their new single called Sturgeon. So they're kind of like a death doom sludge band that came together in 2018. They released their debut EP Primordial in 2020 after a period of incubating new material. So now they're actually ready to hit the scene with new force. Okay, so they've been sitting on some singles since December, and so now is the time to release the first, which is called Sturgeon, and the heaviest music apparently that they have written to date. Okay, so guys, do go and check them out. They're on YouTube and stuff. They're really, really cool. They're from Canada, and I really think they're absolutely great at what they do. I'm pretty sure you listening to what you just listened to, if you're like me, you're pretty blown away. So do go and check them out.
Cause
Whoa, they were really good. I'm very, very impressed with these. Okay, so this band, they're called Decapiton. I said that weirdly, didn't I? Decapiton. That's what they're called. And it's self-released. It's from, I was sent this by Against PR. The last track that you heard before that was by Asher Media. So big shout out to them. So this particular band, Decapiton, they're a melodic death metal band. They're from Germany. And that was a track called Buried Alive. So they're going to be releasing the second album on July the 15th, 2022. Basically, after some lineup changes, delays caused by COVID pandemic and vinyl shortage, the band is now proud to announce their second release. So it's going to be available on CD, vinyl, and all major digital platforms, which is kind of cool. So it was mastered by Dan Swano, who was also involved in the making releases by Edge of Sanity, Bloodbath, Insomnium, Omnium Gatherum, Opeth, for example. Definitely a band if you're into those kind of bands like Monomath, Before the Dawn, Edge of Sanity, and Flames, that kind of thing. So, and I believe Dan Swano is from Unison AB. It was mixed and recorded by Ralph Prakelt at Putrid Cellar Studio. So, guys, you can actually follow these guys on Bandcamp, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. Personally, I think these are a really, really good band. Definitely worth looking into. Really enjoyed their music. And this is what I'm trying to say to you guys, that we all think that music is hands out there. It's just that, it's about making the effort to listen to the radio or looking in the magazines and buying, the magazines and reading up on your stuff to get with what's going on with bands at the moment, And there's so many underground bands that hardly get noticed, and this is why Ragebreed do what we do. We do this so we can, help underground bands, but also, also help, the sign bands too. I mean, we believe in working with A to E-list bands, so we have something for everybody. So those who like the kind of mainstream stuff, we do that. The people that like the underground stuff, we do that, and everything in between, Headbangers, we deal with a lot of the underground kind of subgenres and stuff. So yeah, that's what we do pretty much. And because this kind of music is a favourite of mine, this is why I kind of took on Headbangers. Um, Headbangers actually initially was a club night, believe it or not, and we used to have it at various different locations and stuff. And my friend Blue was DJing for me at the Orb, it used to be called, but that closed down. But we had the club night on different venues, you know, and then eventually we started to do it at Venom, which was a floor because we had a 3-story club night at a Venom nightclub, and it was Ragebreed Club Night. And what we did is we themed the events. So we had a red carpet event, and we had we had like VIP guests and things like that. So it was really cool. So we had Tony Dolan come to our event. We had who else did we have? We had Martin Walker. We had Darren from Eastern Front. And these are just some of the people that came down to the event. So it was really kind of cool. And we had the bass player, I believe, from Crowbar, which I don't think is in the band anymore. But it was really cool because we had a very cool club night, and it was in 2018, I believe, and then I kind of had a bit of a break from it, if that makes sense, and was dealing with my own stuff at home, and that was when I was in a very bad, toxic environment. So yeah, I mean, like, to be honest with you, it's really interesting because Headbangers became, I guess, the underground club night that we had, but then it became the floor. So I was DJing one of the floors, and then I hired 2 other DJs to do that floor. And then I did the mainstream floor and hired DJs to do, the different floors and what have you. So they had a set, wage per hour. And yeah, it was really cool. And then obviously when COVID hit, I couldn't do the club night anymore. So um, we decided to do it as a radio show, and part of the magazine. And we're also going to be starting to do, the more people I get involved in this, we're going to start doing interviews with, underground bands on meet and greets, and then put them on Ragebreed TV. So you may have already seen that, but we call it meet and greets. So we've already done an interview with Aaron from My Dying Bride. We've done one with Tony Dolan, but we did that. We've done a few interviews at Bloodstock backstage in the VIP area. Yeah, and then what we then did was, I think that was in 2009, if I remember right. Sorry, 2019, not 9. And then we've put them all up on Ragebreed TV. So if you do have YouTube, go and check them out. They're really, really cool. And we've even done one with Nige from Onslaught also. So it's really cool. And some of these interviews you'll also be able to see if you buy Ragebreed magazine. Now, some people have asked, Ragebreed magazine's free now. Well, yeah, but if you want the compilation CDs, you have to buy it. So it's £4.99. And I really do strongly, say definitely support the artist. Buy the magazine, get it with the 2 CDs, because some of the, artists on there are fucking amazing. It's really good music, and you're getting like literally like 22 bands, roughly around there anyway, for like £4.99. But you see what we decided to do? We decided to do the magazine for free because we wanted to get it reached out to more people. So we've been, it's been going into like different emails. It's been going through our affiliates. It's, and it's really good to see that people have been reading it. I've been getting some feedback from people going, oh, wow, what a great read, And it's great that people are putting the time in to read it. And, some people like it's, they say, I like that your design work is so different from everyone else's, because it's like, it draws you in. It's almost like reading, posters and stuff. It's like looking into a whole different world. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted the fantasy element of how my mind works go into how I, design and stuff. So that was cool. And we did it differently, because what we did is we put a banner at the top of the magazine. And we did this, and it's a lot of people have been like, oh, well, why did you do that? It's a picture of you and all this. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that the brands that we're advertising have their own ad. So basically that section for that brand would have a picture of the person who was doing the interviews or was responsible for that section, and then you'd get your interviews underneath, if that makes sense. So it was really cool. It was like, it's a way for people to get to know the brand and the person that deals with that section. So I deal with quite a few within Ragebreed, but then there are other brands that come in and have their own section, if that makes sense. So that's how it all works, and it's really cool. And it's wonderful to see that there are so many A-lists, B, C-list, D-list, E-list bands that want to work with us. It's wonderful. And we've got some great media partners, and we will be announcing the new ones soon. So we'll crack on now. But I just thought I'd just, give you a little bit of history about Headbangers. And there we go. So that was an awesome tune. That was a little bit more death metal, progressive, technical, post deathy metal kind of stuff. And the artist here is Ricardo Moccia or Mossia, not too sure how to pronounce it. The release title is called Sensed. It's self-released, and it was released actually in March 2022. Okay. And this track was called One Creation Egg Form, which is quite interesting. So, Sensed is a concept album about the evolution of the universe from the point of view of a being of light. And it's a story based on ancient Sumerian, Egyptian, Greek, Indian, and Japanese scriptures, which is cool. The work is of death post metal mold, if you like, with very important use of harmonic singing, ergo of Mongolian, Indian, and Japanese chants. So when you listen to the album, you will actually see that a peculiarity that makes the album also meditative as well as merely aggressive. And the rhythms derive from and are inspired by the Indian Kanakal, the oldest musical language of man. Interesting. See, I like bands that have sort of a story behind them, and this is why I did Lake of Dreams and Mind Labs. It's all about kind of, there's always a story behind it, if that makes sense. So, Sensed was written, performed, produced, recorded, programmed, mixed and mastered by Ricardo Moccia through Altamira Multimedia. So that's really interesting. So do go check them out, or check him out. You can find him on Bandcamp. It's Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. Really, really cool. I'm quite blown away by that, to be honest. So yeah, go check it out if you liked what you heard.
Band your heads, it is time for Headbangers on Ragebreed Radio.
What a great tune. I mean, I really like this kind of stuff. It's kind of like progressive, uh, melodic death metal, that kind of stuff. These guys are called Barbarian Prophecies. The release title is Horizon, and that track was called Alpha. The release date was 2nd of May, and they're from Spain, which is kind of cool. Now, I think, to be honest with you, these guys are all on Bandcamp, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. And I really do think, if you like this kind of music and stuff, it's definitely worth checking out. It looks like the label, we've got a few different labels on here. So we've got Bass Record Production, Violence in the Veins, Iron Matron Records, and Hecatomb Records, I believe it is. Sorry, I can't pronounce things today. I think it's probably late, that's why. But yes, anyway, I think they're really good. But that's going to pretty much round off tonight's Headbangers. I usually put a slip in a My Laps track, but I'm not going to do it this time. It's all going to be about the bands. But we will do that for next week. Now, people have been asking about Mind Laps, about what's happening with it. We've got a bass player pretty much up for doing what we're doing and everything. I'm in the process of recording videos for him to learn the stuff. Then we're going to be looking for guitarists, then drummers, etc., etc. So I think Mind Laps at the minute is going to take a bit longer than what we initially expected. So it's literally a case of hanging in there. To be honest with you, the music's all written, so it's not a case of like, I don't have the music there. It's just that I'd like to get some, good musicians in that can play what I've done, really solidly. Because as much as I do riff write, I'm more of a singer and a riff writer than I am, solos and things like that. And I would like to have some solos in my work and stuff, and some people that can do the job well and be committed to the project. I've always had issues with people sticking to the project, so this is why I need to bring, some musicians on board. So if you are a death metal drummer, I'll probably say progressive death metal drummer, who kind of is open-minded as well, that can, it's not going to be too kind of like, I'm just do this. We need someone who's a bit more open-minded, because we may have to play some of our older songs when we do play live. And then also we've got, we're looking for 2 guitarists as well. And we are looking for potentially a keyboardist to do all the samples and stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And if you are interested in being in Mind Laps, do drop me an email. It's Karina_Ragebreed@hotmail.com. Preferably you would live in the UK, because I would like to have sort of like band practices, like, I mean, we probably will do it through Zoom and stuff to begin with, but then I think we're going to be looking at meeting up at least once a month to band practice, if that makes sense, and have a big block session. So I want to get pretty much the album written as soon as possible, or at least a single out there. So yes, I'm looking for people who can do that, preferably people that are professional and will give it the attention that it deserves. So like I say, you can either contact me through my email, or you can go to the Mind Laps page on Facebook and send a message through there. So guys, that's all I've got time for. But I hope you've enjoyed the show. And I hope you've enjoyed the music, because there's always some great music out there, and if you're like me and you like discovering bands, DJing is something that I really love doing. And and I hope you have enjoyed yourself. Thanks for all of your support so far. We are absolutely we are amazed at how much support we're getting. I cannot believe there are people around the world listening to this radio show. It's crazy for me, looking at how many people in the world, love what we do. We're getting on to nearly now 5k of downloads. So that's brilliant news. So thank you so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to me and the team. My team really do support what I do, and I'm very, very happy to be still doing what I'm doing. Really does make my heart soar. When I'm doing what I'm doing, I really love what I do, and it's not done. It's like the passion drives what I do, if that makes sense. It's really, really important to have that. And like everybody, I need some time out sometimes as well, just to gather my thoughts, because, I can be very sort of, when I like to do something, I like to do it a lot, if that makes sense. And I go into it massively, but I'm learning how to balance a little bit better now, just by having a break. As you guys know, I went to Lake District, Peak District, and absolutely amazing place, guys. If you haven't been there, do check it out. It's amazing. It really is a beautiful place, and it's not too far. I can't believe that there's places like that in England. My next point of call, I would like to go to see Newquay, because I've seen some of the beaches that my cousin went to, and there's another place as well, which is, I think it's just below Scotland, up Northumberland apparently, and there's a place where I want to go there as well. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of adventuring, um, you know. So yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and if you're going to sleep, have a great night's sleep, and as always, keep it metal, keep it Ragebreed. Take care.